in the remaining cases, we are going to do 1 plus math dot max of height of the left node, comma, height of the right node. Right? So whatever the maximum I am getting on the left side or either on the right side, I will get the maximum of these two. And this is a recursive function. If you see it carefully, right? So what exactly we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate the node dot left, then the node dot left, then the node dot left. It will keep on recursively calling this, and this is just one line for calculating the height of the binary tree, right? So this is itself a recursive function, and this will both the function will get executed. Like we'll check for this, we'll check for this, and whatever is the maximum, because we need to calculate the height, so we'll take the maximum one as well. Okay. Right. So basically, the solution says is if the node is equal to null, we need to return 0. Else, what we need to do is math dot max of height, which is the name of the function itself. Right? If you have a look, the name of the function itself is a height, and from there we need to call the node dot left and the node dot right. So the node dot left will return with the left node of that particular node. So if we go back to the question, right? Okay. If you have a look at the question, right? So node dot left will return with this one, right? And the node dot right will return with this one. Now I'm going to calculate the height for this and this. Right? So how exactly is it going to work in the recursive manner? Let's say I started from here, right? I will check for the node dot left. It's already null, so that means I don't have anything over here. Now I will do 1 plus node dot right. Now I got the 1 as the length, right? Now I'm going to check it for the node dot left, right? So it has a length of 1. Node dot right doesn't have anything, so it's going to return me the null. And this way, if I keep on iterating, every time I'm going to increase it by 1. So every time if I'm going to increase it by 1, okay, what is the time complexity of the height function? Okay. Yep. So if you see carefully, what exactly we are doing? We are calling this function recursively, but at the same time we are calling this function as well, right? So we need to check that out of these two, right, whichever is the maximum. But for checking the maximum, we need to calculate the height for the both, right? So depends on the number of it fairly depends on the number of what we call that the node we have, but the time complexity for this is going to be the 2 to the power n, because this is going to iterate for n number of times, right? At least not n, but it is going to iterate n by 2 number of times. But if we talk about the worst case, right, it's going to iterate in the n number of times. What if my tree will look like this? Let me. Right? So there can be the two scenarios. It would be like this. Okay, just assume that we have a tree in this manner. As my cursor is moving, right? If my tree is in this manner, so I will be having only left trees, right? So this is going to iterate for n number of times. Again, this is going to iterate for the n number of times. And whenever we have a call, which is right after the others, in the recursive function, the time complexity will become 2 to the power of n. That clear? Even if you remember, we have done a similar question while doing the time complexity. So please refer the notes as well. Right? And even if you have any doubts, do let me know. Any other doubts, guys, in this? Perfect. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next. Okay, level order traversal. Okay, so do you know what is a level order traversal? Okay, BFS. Well, so can you tell me what is the level order traversal for this tree? I know you can see the output as well. That's 1, 3, 2, right? If you have a look at for this one, so it would be like 10, 20, 30, 40, 60. So that means, as the name suggests, it would be like in the level we have to traverse. So this is a level 0, or maybe you can call it as a 1, right? If you want to keep it indexing from a 0, you can call it as a level 0, level 1, level 2, and so on and so forth, right? Level 0, level 1, and the level 2. So these many number of levels it has. Now, what I need to do, right? If you have a look at the company text, it was again being asked by the several companies, and most of the questions, whatever I have taken, was being asked by the many companies already, right? So there is a higher chances that whatever the company you are going to sit for may ask a similar question. Right? It might not be the exact same, but it might be similar as well. Okay. So how exactly we can do it? Anyone has idea about it? How can we traverse in this manner so that I will get the one first? Right? I know there are the three traversals, pre-order, post-order, and in order, right? So they have a different, they have their own advantage, but I want to traverse my tree in the level order. When I say in the level order, it should start from the level 0, iterating from the level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on and so forth. It's a quite popular question, right? But yeah, at the same time, it's important to do such questions. Okay, next example. Have a look at the next example as well. Okay, yes, level wise printing. Yes, you have to do the level wise printing. But the question is how exactly we can do the level wise printing. Okay, for every node we have to print its left and the right node. Correct. That's what you have to do. So how exactly you can make it possible, right? And you have to traverse as well. Just keep in mind, I agree with your point, right? We need to print the left and right, and it should be in the order of left first and then right second, right? But if I'm at this node, right? If I'm at the 20th node, I need to print 40 and 60, but I need to traverse to the 30 right after this, right? Because I need to print if there is a, let's say, if I have a number over here, let's say 80, right? So I need to print 80 as well. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Right? So that's absolutely correct. We need to print the left and right, but how exactly we are going to traverse this? Anyone, guys? Okay, so we first get the level by finding the value. Okay, value is equal to the x is equal to the 1 plus distance from the root. Mm, okay, so you mean storing the level for the each and every node, whatever you are getting? Okay, so that means first you will try to find out the label, right? After finding the label, you will start again from the top. So basically, you will be doing iteration twice for the each and every number. And after doing that iteration, you will be like for the each and every number, you have to do the multiple number of times iteration. Because if I talk about this 20, right, it is at the level 2 or maybe at the level 1, right? If I start from the 0, it's level at the 1, right? So it's going to come in the iteration of 40 as well. It's going to come in the iteration of 20 as well. Right? So the 20 number is going to get repeated in the iteration multiple times. Okay, not bad though. But there is a one more improved solution. When we say improved solution, right, we can reduce time complexity by certain manner. Okay. Okay. So let's have a look at the summations. Perfect. So what exactly we are going to use is we are going to make use of a queues over here. I will tell you that why exactly we are going to use the queue. So what exactly we gonna do is while the queue dot size, first we'll create an empty queue. Inside the level order traversal, we are going to create a queue, right? So queue is equal to the new linked list. This is how we create a queue in the Java. So we have created a queue using collection, right? Right? We have created a queue. Now we have added not value tag, right? So this is going to be the headmost, right? This is going to be the topmost element of that. Now I have added. Now what I'm gonna do is instead of traversing, okay, right? So my node is over here. What I'm gonna do is that rather than actually going over here, I will just put my pointer over there. And this is what the functionality, I can achieve this functionality by using a queue, right? So I have my node stored inside this. The queue has my node stored, right? After this, I will add the node to this. While queue dot size is not equal to 0, right? So initially it won't be 0 because I have already added the node. So if I ask you what is the queue dot size as of now, can anyone tell me what is the value for this? We just started. Okay, perfect. So the value for this is going to be the 1 because there is only one node it has. So it's not equal to 0. Now I made it 0. I made it 0 and I removed the node. But after removing the node, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to print the data. So definitely if if my tree will look like this will print the root dot data, which is basically 1. Right? Now I'm going to traverse in the left direction, right? So when I'm going to traverse inside the left direction, what exactly happens? Q dot add a dot left, right? So if you have added a dot left, right, it is again going to inside the loop, right? So we are never going to be we are never going to go out of the loop until unless we are not done with the tree. So a dot left is not equal to null. It has 2 on the left side, so it will add 2 to this. So now my queue will look like 2. It has only the element 2, right? Now we're gonna check whether does it have a right. Yes, it does have a right as well, right? So it's going to be 2 comma 3, right? Now, now it will again go inside the loop. Node A is equal to the queue dot remove. Okay, can anyone tell me which number is going to remove if my queue will look like this? Perfect. Correct. So the 2 is going to be the removed. So the 2 is going to be the removed, and now it will check a dot left is not equal to null, it is null. A dot right is not equal to null, it is null. And that's where I will again go inside the loop, and next time it is going to remove 3, right? So my number of iterations would be equal to the number of number of elements I have in this, and it would be like the output would be 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now there are the two things. Can anyone tell me why we have used Q over here? I hope it will explain it. Okay. Can you explain using the second example? Of course we can. Right? So let's try to iterate this one. 10, 20, 30, 40, 60. Right? Guys, please remember this diagram because it would be difficult for me to swipe again and again. So first we'd be having 10, right? So let's say we started from here. Okay, we'll start from here. Q we have created. Initially it was the empty queue. What is the topmost element I need to add? Right? 10. Perfect. So we added 10. What is the size I have? Size is equal to 1, which is not equal to 0. What I have removed? 10 I have removed from the queue. Now 10. So I have removed 10, right? But it itself is a node because the tree is made up of nodes, right? So a dot data will give me the exact data. So this will return the 10 itself. Now I got the 10. What is a dot left? Is it null? Does it have on the left side anything? Correct. It has something, right? Which is not null. So I'm going to add to this. Now my queue will look like 20. Perfect. Now I'm going to add on the right part of it. A dot right is not equal to null. Does it have something on the right side? Have a look at this, right? Does it have something on the right side? Yes, it has. What it is? 30. So if it has 30, what will be my Q value? Right? It would be 20, 30. Perfect. Is it clear for everyone till here? Okay. Now let's go back. Now I'm gonna check whether my Q dot size is not equal to 0. It's not equal to 0. I have two elements. I'm going to remove the first element. What would be that element? 20 will be removed because the Q follows the first in, first out operation. Right? So 20 got removed from here. Now the data will be printed is equal to the A dot data, where A is equal to the node dot data, that is going to be the 20. Is A dot left is not equal to null? 20 dot left is not equal to null? Is it null? No, it's not null. So definitely it's going to be inside the loop as well. Right? So we have already removed 20. Now I just left with the 30 as of now. Right? So I just left with the 30 and the 40 is the one. Right? What is the A dot right if I see? Right? So that is basically the 20 and the 60 I have. So is it null? No, it is again not null. So that is basically 30 I already have, 40 I already have, 60 I have added. Say why it should print 20 once again. No, it shouldn't print 20 because whenever we are adding it, we are just removing it. No. I guess you guys are getting confused, right? So let's have a look at it. Just try to understand the first example, right? It's a kind of a basic example, but the similar kind of a thing that we are going to do in the next example as well, right? When you try to iterate a big example, you might get confused, but try to have a look at this, right? So what exactly we did? We first added 1, right? So with this line of code, with this line of code, we added 1 to this, right? If we added 1, the size is not equal to 0, we remove this, right? So now 1 is not there anymore inside this, right? 1 we remove. Now my queue is empty and the data, it will print 1, right? I don't have any 1 as of now. Now what I'm gonna do is, my queue becomes empty as of now. A dot left is not equal to null. So is it null or not? If it's not null, we are going to inside it. So it's not null. And what it has on the left side, it has 2, right? On the right side, it has 3, which is not null. So basically, if
Recording in progress.
After removing, it prints. In the same way, if the 20 is removed, then the 20 will be printed next. Yep. If the 20 is removed, then the 20 is going to be printed next, right next to it. Right? Actually, we are not removing the 20 itself. If you see carefully, right? We are removing a node and then printing the data of the node. Right? So it's like removing a complete node because node is made up of the data and the pointer pointing to the next node. Right? So there are the two operations we are doing simultaneously. We are removing the complete node and printing only the data. We don't want a pointer over here. That's the reason we are printing only data. Okay. Can we use array list and increment index variable? Okay. Yes, you can make use of an array list as well. Yep, you can make use of an array list as well. But in that case, right, so because the queue has a property that it's going to remove the very first element. So what you need to do is you need to shift each and every element by one position. Right? Or what you have to do, you have to always remove the element from the 0th position. But that can also be done. No issues. Yep. I will ask them to share right away, right? No, guys, the 20 will only be printed once, then 20 will be printed once again. I mean, the output. No, the 20 will be printed only once because at this position we are going to edit, right? So here it will be added. So now, if the queue contains 20 only for once, right? Each and every time, whatever the node we are going to remove, we are printing the same. Right? So we are not going to append it twice, right? It's going to be only once inside the queue, and if a number is going only once inside the queue, that means it is going to be printed only once. That clear? Okay, perfect. Okay. So now can anyone tell me what is a binary search tree? Okay. Okay, perfect. Left is less and the right is greater. Okay. Every node has at most two nodes. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So is it a binary search tree or not? The tree you see right over here, is it a binary search tree or not? Okay, yes. Okay. Is it a binary search tree or not? No. Is it? Okay. So may I know why it's not a binary search tree? Replace 3 and 4. Okay. If we replace 3 and 4, it will become a binary search tree. Perfect. So now what I want you guys to do, right? You need to tell me whether a given tree is a binary search tree or not. Right? I will give you a tree. You need to figure out whether it's a binary search tree or not by using code. How will you do it? I'm not sure whether this question has been discussed or not, but maybe you guys can give it a try. Okay, check with the root node if the left is greater than root or not. Okay, okay, theoretically looks fine, but how exactly are you going to implement it? Right? Because there is a drawback for this. The drawback is if you are just going to check with the root node. So is the let's assume this is the root node, right? This is the 3. This is where we have 2. This is where we have 5, right? So is 2 is lesser than 3? Yes. 5 is greater than 3? Yes. Both the conditions are getting satisfied? Yes. Is the 2 we have 2? Is 1 is greater than 1 is lesser than 2? Yes. 2 is 4 is greater than 2? Yes. Right? So we are getting all yes, but still it's not a binary search. Right? So checking a node with just a left node and the right node will not solve your problem. Okay? There is something else you have to do. Okay? Check the leftmost node, then its parent, and then the right node. Okay, you mean with the 3, am I going to check with the 1 and then the 5? Correct. Every element on the left side should be greater than the root node. Correct. But how exactly we are going to do it? Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. One with the root node, other with the parent node. Okay. Check from the leftmost node and then its parent. Okay. And then the right node. Okay. Okay. Void BST return. Okay. Root dot data is greater than root dot left. Okay. Good. Okay. So let's have a look at the solution. There can be more than there can be more than one possible solution, but we'll try to cover up almost every solution. So let's have a look at the first solution, which is absolutely not a correct solution. Right? So what exactly we are going to do is not dot left. We are first checking if the node is equal to null. That means we are going to return true. Right? The second condition we are going to check if the node dot left is not equal to null, and then node dot left dot data is greater than the node dot data. That means what I'm gonna check is my left is greater than the data, right? So sorry, if my left is greater than the data, then I'm going to return false. If my right data is lesser than the data, So that means the right side is a smaller. That means I'm going to return false. And I'm going to recursively call this function for the left as well as for the right. Right? But well, that doesn't satisfy our condition, right? So which condition we are missing out? The very first condition, because we are just checking with the left and the right. But we forgot to check with the 3. We need to check 3 with the each and every element on the left side. Okay? So we will come back to the second solution and we figured out that, okay, let's try to iterate each and every on the left side. So how exactly we're going to iterate on the left side? What I'm going to check is not dot left is not equal to null, and whatever the max value you see on the left side. Right? Can you tell me what is the max value on the left side? With respect to this node, can you tell me what is the maximum value on the left side? Okay, 4 it is. Okay. So if I say my data should be greater than 4, is it a correct condition? Can I just claim that my whatever the data present inside the root node should always be greater than the maximum value whatever is on the left side? Right? This is the one condition that we need to check for. Right? To eliminate this case. To eliminate this case, but if left has one more greater element. Okay. Assumingly, let's say if I have 5 over here, right? Let's say on the left side it has 5. Right? So what I'm going to do is I will calculate the whatever the maximum value on the left side I'm getting would be 5. Right? Do you guys agree? If 3 is greater than 5, of course the 3 is not greater than 5. I will return it as a false. That it can never be a BS. Apart from that, I am also going to check the condition, which the condition is basically I need to check whether do I have on the left side and the right side. The element on the left side should be lesser, the element on the right side should be greater. Okay. Okay, are you talking about this question, this solution, the second solution that we are discussing? Okay. Okay. So let me explain it to you again. I guess you are getting confused. Okay. So what exactly we're gonna do is we're gonna check first this. Right? Let's iterate with the question. Not dot left is not equal to null, and the max value not dot left is greater than the not dot data. Right? So we are going to return 0. That means what exactly I'm gonna check is what is the not dot left? Let's say 3 I have. Right? I got the very first number as a 4. Right? So that means it is definitely not going to be BST. But let's try out this with the BST example. We have 4 over here. What is the node dot left of the max value? We are getting 3 as a maximum value, right? So definitely this number is going to be lesser than 3. Do you guys agree? If I have the maximum value as a 3 on the left side, so whatever the number you pick, either it's going to be 3 or lesser than 3. Right? Because we have already calculated the maximum on the left side of this. Right? So there is no chance that the solution can be wrong. Right? Because we have what exactly we are going to do, we are going to check what is the maximum value on the left side. Let's say I got 3. If I got 3, I'm going to check this value with the node value. Right? So if it is lesser, there is no chance that it could be greater than 3. Right? Let's try out with the 2 as well. Right? With this 2, what I'm going to check is what is the maximum value I can get on the left side, which is 1. Right? So I'm going to check 1 and the 2 as well. Yep. Okay. Perfect. So this is how the solution will gonna work. And whenever we are getting a false case, right? Whenever we are getting a false condition, we are going to come out of the loop and saying that it is not a binary system. Okay. So now, can anyone tell me what is the drawback for this? Right? They say that this is not an efficient solution, but why it's not an efficient solution? Correct. That this is the one case. If equal, we cannot find it. There is the one more case that we are going to missing out, right? So basically, what exactly we need to do is we need to iterate each and every number several number of times, right? Because for checking the minimum and the maximum value, I need to traverse each and every time. Let's say if I want to calculate the what is the maximum value on the left side I have, which is 4, right? I need to traverse the complete tree. Again, at the 2, I need to traverse this, whatever the left tree, whatever the right tree. So that's a kind of a repeated process I have to do. Can I make it simpler, right? Can I store something? Can I do something better so that I don't have to repeat the process? Can you guys think of something? Okay, we can have current max value to the left. Okay, but let's say I got the current max value as a 4, right? For the left part. But it might change for the next step, right? Because when I come to this node, right? I don't want this 4. I want the value to be driven from this left tree. Okay, take a variable, set it as max. If it is greater than the previous value of max. Okay. Yep. So by checking if in order traversal is the ascending order or not. Yes, this is also one of the solutions. Good. Okay, so let's try to optimize this solution. Then we'll discuss about the one more solution that's in order traversal. But let's try to complete it. Okay. So this is the correct and an efficient solution. So what exactly they are going to do in this solution? Let's say this is the data I have, right? So what I can claim is if this is the data I have and this is the left node, this is the right node, right? So if I have 3 right over there and 2 right over here, then 5 over here. So whatever the element I'm going to get on the left side of this should always lie in between int minimum value, which is the global minimum value, to this value, right? So what I can claim is the data which is present right over here should always lie in between int minimum value to the 3 minus 1, that is 2, right? It can be equals to that as well, but it cannot be greater than that, right? So if I take about this number, right, this number should always lie in between global minimum value, which is somewhere around the negative number, too much negative number, right? Let's say minus 1 lakh or 1,000, whatever the integer minimum value can take up, to this number itself, right? To the 2 minus 1, which is 1. Let's say if I have the 1000 over here, right? So what are the possible values that it could take? Definitely, it cannot take greater than 1000. The possible values that it can take in between some negative number to the 999, right? Similar thing, similar the case goes on the right side as well, right? The same case goes for the right as well. So can you tell me what would be the right condition for this? What should we check for the right condition? On the right side of the tree, what is the condition that we need to apply for? Perfect. Good. Correct. So what I'm gonna check is the number should always lie in between num plus 1 to the maximum value, right? And when we say a maximum value, that is going to be the global maximum, which an integer can obtain the maximum. So this number should always lie in between those, right? If I talk about the left part of this, again, it retains the same condition. Negative number to the data minus 1 it could be. Right? So basically the solution tells the same thing. Okay, this one. So we have initializer integer dot minimum value, integer dot maximum value. Now what I'm going to check is if it is null, I'm going to return true. If not dot data is lesser than minimum and or not dot data is greater than the maximum value, max and the min that we are going to decide, right? We are going to return false, right? So node dot left minimum node dot data minus 1. So when we say node dot data dot minus 1, that means on the left side, we are going to check it should lie in between minimum to the node dot data minus 1. On the right side, it should always lie in between node dot data plus 1 to the maximum. And having said these numbers also we are going to repeatedly update, right? So that means the number should always lie in between, the number should always be greater than 3 as well. Right? Whatever the number you are going to have on the left side should be greater than 3 as well. And this condition is also taken care just by using this one, because we are checking that the node dot data plus 1. Right? So if you have a look, the minimum value will always be updated using minimum or node dot data plus 1. The maximum value will be updated by using a node dot data minus 1 to the max. Any doubt stage in the solution? So coming to the Sandtrick logic, right? The logic should be like, it should always lie in between those, and it should always lie in between num plus 1 to the maximum, whatever the value integer can take up. Right? The advantage of using this, we don't have to repeatedly do the operation, right? We don't have to take care of what is the minimum value we are getting, what is the maximum value we are getting on the left side. Okay, if it's not less than the global max, also I didn't get your question. Can you rephrase it? Okay. Meanwhile, can get any other doubts? Okay, can anyone tell me the in-order traversal for this? If value okay, you mean right to the 4? No, it's not a BST then. Right? So what exactly we are going to check? It should always be line between from this number plus 1 to the greater than root. Yeah. Yep, it's greater than root, right? And it's going to be a BST. If it's a 1000 as well, right? It's going to be a BST until unless it doesn't have anything on the, because let's say if it is 1 lakh as well, right? Won't it be a BST? It will of course be a BST because it satisfies all the conditions. Guys, any other doubts? Okay, integer range is from minus 10 to the power 9 to the 10 to the power 9. So it's still in range, right? If it's going beyond the range, we might need to take up the integer dot, rather than taking the integer dot max, we need to take the some other max value, maybe the double max, something like that. Or maybe we need to go for the big numbers. But the integer range is quite high, what exactly you are. Okay. Okay. Now coming back to the question, right? What exactly the in order traversal for this? Anyone? Yes, big integer can be used. Okay, good. Okay, so what we can conclude from this is, one. Okay, so what we can conclude from this is, see, if we have a look at the in order traversal, it should be left, root, and right. The left, root, then right, then left side we have covered root is 4, 5. So basically it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if we have a look at the in order traversal, and if it's in the ascending order, definitely it's going to the BST. And this is what the last solution, right? So if we check an in order traversal, do an in order traversal and store result in a temporary array, this method assumes there when the no duplicate values in the tree. If an array is sorted in the ascending order, then the tree is going to be a BST, right? So this is also one of the possible solutions that what you can use of, you can do in order traversal, store all the values, and once you have stored all the values, you can check whether it's in the ascending order or not. Okay, now the question comes is how exactly you are going to check the given array is in the ascending order. Anyone? Is the question clear, guys? How exactly are you guys going to check the given array is in the ascending order? Let's say we got the in order traversal. Now we need to check it's in the ascending order or not. Okay. Okay. So basically the one solution I got is an array of I minus 1 is lesser than the array of I. Definitely it's the correct solution, but do we really need to iterate the whole array again? Right? So rather than iterating the whole array again, instead, while putting inside the array, you can check it. It can save you a lot of iteration. So rather than reaching till the complete array and then checking it again, whether it's ascending order or not, right? Instead, what you can do is just keep the track of the last number, and before putting, check whether do we have the number which is greater than this, right? If the condition becomes false, we can directly break the loop and say that it is not a BSP. Because at the end, what exactly we are doing, whatever the thing we are doing, just to check if the tree given is a BST or not, right? So we can reduce time complexity for the some of the cases as well. Okay. Any doubts, guys, so far for this? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm ending the poll for now. Okay, so now let's come back to the full binary tree. And coming to this question, right? This question was also being asked by the several companies as far as I remember. Let's have a look at this. Right? So try to complete at least these questions when you talk about the trees, right? So it was being asked by these many companies, right? If you have a look at the, if I will just calculate roughly, it's more than 20 companies who have already asked these questions and have specified that these questions are being asked by these companies. So it's really an important question and not too tough to do. Guys, please give it a try. Okay, coming back to this, what is the full binary tree? Anyone has an idea about what is the full binary tree? Okay, 2 to the power n plus 1 element. Okay, perfect, good. Correct. So basically what we have, a binary tree is a full binary tree if every node has a zero or the two children. Okay? So if every node has a zero or the two children, definitely it's going to be 2 to the power n plus 1 because the 1 itself is for the root. And if every node has a two or none children, so it's going to be 2 to the power n. The following are the examples of a full binary tree, and if you have a look at the example, this could be the one of the examples as well. So if you have a look at this, right, each and everything has a two nodes over here, right? But the leaf node doesn't have anything. That means it could not have a single on the right side or a single node on the left side. That's not the possible thing, which could be there with a full binary. So the question is not about the what is a full binary tree. The actual question is, given a binary tree, now you need to check a binary tree is a full binary tree or not. Guys, I know these questions are little towards on the tougher side, but we guys need to prepare for those as well. Any suggestions? Anything you think about it? Any thoughts on this? Okay. So let me give you a clue for this, right? Okay, if we have a look at the second, right? So is it a full tree or not? Full binary tree or not? Okay, checking root left, right, root left, right. Okay, both null or both not null. Okay, good. That's also one of the solution which you have to check it recursively, but absolutely a good solution. So either should both be the null or none of them should be null, right? Okay, if you have a look at this, what you can conclude from this? Is it a full binary tree or not? Yes, no. Okay. Okay, perfect. So it's not a full binary tree. Okay, only one child for the two because we have only left child for the two. Okay, now if I do a left order, let's make it a level order traversal for this, right? Can you tell me the level order traversal for this? The question that we just discussed. May I know the level order traversal for this tree? For this one? In the level we are going to traverse. So what should be the answer in that case? Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Can you try to divide it in terms of level? Let's say this is in the first level, this is in the second level, and this is going to be in the third level, right? Whatever the level we can assume, maybe it's 0, 1, 2, or maybe 1, 2, 3, whatever you want, right? But what we can conclude from this, if any level has odd number of levels, if any level has odd number of nodes except the root node, that's not going to be a full binary. Can we conclude like this? If any level has odd number of nodes, it's not going to be a it's not going to be a full binary tree, right? So it's not going to be a full binary tree. Okay, so do you know how to traverse in the level order, right? The level order traversal we need to make use of it every time. Like there are the various instances that where you need to make use of. Okay, but if tree also has one element to the right, okay, that's absolutely good. But how does a level order traversal work, right? This statement might be looking confusing, but exactly this let me clarify it. That's absolutely a good point. But when we check for the level order traversal, we check for this number, right? So we start from here. Let me show you that. I forgot to paste the link of it, but it should be right here. Okay, so the one solution is basically this one, which I don't think so we need to discuss. The other solution we are going to discuss, which is basically with the cube, right? Using a level or a traversal. The one solution is like check for the left and the right child. If both of them are null, that means we are going to return true. If left child is not equal to null and the right child is not equal to null, then we are going to go inside this and checking it again, right? For the left and the right as well. Quite straightforward solution, recursive solution. Now let's check for the using a level or a traversal. Okay. So what exactly we gonna do is we're gonna check for the each and every element only. The statement is might not be the correct, right? But how the level or the traversal works is, so basically we'll keep a count value over here, and after this, let's say we have this tree. Let's consider this tree as well. Right? Let's consider this one, and we will include 5 over here as well, so that we can check this case if we are satisfying this case or not as well. Okay. So perfect. So what exactly we're gonna do? We're gonna just put right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the very first element is going to be the 1. We have inserted 1 into that. Now, once we have inserted 1, we will make the count value as 0. Right? So now the value of a count 1 is equal to 0. Now, if the size is equal to 0 or not, it's not equal to 0 as it is 1. Now, I'm going to remove the element. So, the 1 got removed from the stuff. Now, I have removed 1 from here. Now, I'm at the, I removed 1. I'm going to check whether it has left. It has left as well. And whenever it has left, I'm going to increase it by 1. Right? So the statement was confusing, but what exactly we're going to do is whenever we are going to have a left and the right node, we are going to increase the count by 1. Right? So the count value will become 2 right over here. Sorry, 1 over here. Right? If it has a left node, if it has a right node as well, it will become 2 right over here. Right? So if it has left, if it has right, it will become 2. And if count 1 modulo 2 is not equal to 0, we are going to break the loop. So it is equal to 0, we are again going inside the loop. So what exactly we gonna check is basically we will be having 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And even if we have 5, right, we will break our loop over here itself. Is that clear, or you want me to iterate again? Okay. So that statement is not perfectly correct, right? Here we are missing out of one thing, that we need to check for the right and the left as well. And then only we are going to increment the count. Okay? So we are not printing anything right over here. If you print, it will just become a level or a traversal. But instead of printing, we are just checking for the left and right. At any instance, if we are not getting modulo 2 is equal to 0, we are just breaking out this. Any doubts? So what are the topics is yet left to cover in the DSA? Okay, graphs. Guys, does anyone want me to repeat the whatever the last question that we have just discussed? If yes, do let me know. I can very well do it. We still have 6 minutes left. Okay. So for the node 2, we check left and the right. Since the right is null, the count is odd. Correct, correct, correct. Okay, I thought you already got it. Yes, that's absolutely the correct. Because we won't be having a right? So we will only be incrementing this count. This it will never go inside this loop. And if it's never going to go inside this loop, it will go inside this and it will be we are going to break the loop. That clear? Perfect. Okay, graphs. Okay. Okay, I will share the PDF with you as well. So if you guys want, maybe you guys can have a look. But I will strictly recommend you to do it at least once. These are the really important questions. Guys, can you check whether have you received the PDF? Okay, great. So we'll be having our last Java class right today as they requested to take me on the trees. So I took the class on the trees. I hope you are good with that, but there are still few questions that is missing inside the trees, right? So I will try to cover up. If not possible, I will share just the link. So maybe you guys can go through with that. Right? There are some ancestors and the few other questions which are really important in terms of interview rounds. So maybe you guys can have a look at those as well. Okay, where can we get the PDF? I have already shared you on the chat. Right? Maybe you can check with your friends. Most so we'll wind up the session over here. Uh, any other doubts? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.